All right, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. We always try to bring you the most relevant insights for anyone building and growing a business, and today we're going to really dig into something that I think keeps a lot of folks up at night.
Up at night, huh? Talk about customer churn, right?
Yeah, that dreaded churn. And specifically, we're looking at SaaS businesses today. How do you keep those subscribers happy and paying? Luckily, we've got this fantastic resource from Stripe, like a whole playbook on practical ways to boost customer loyalty and just make that churn rate plummet.
Well, Stripe, they definitely know their stuff. And just so we're all on the same page here, churn, right, is basically the rate in which your customers decide, hey, I'm out. They stop using your service, cancel those subscriptions over a period of time. Stripe gives this simple example. Let's say you've got 100 customers, 5 of them bail in a month, boom, 5% churn rate.
5% might not sound like a whole lot, but trust me, you feel it.
Oh, you feel it, all right. And Stripe breaks down exactly why this seemingly small number can cause some serious headaches, both in the short term and way down the line.
So hit us with it. What's the big deal with churn? Why is it so scary for these SaaS businesses?
Well, the most obvious thing right off the bat is you're losing that sweet, sweet recurring revenue. It's like a leak in your money bucket, and it can really put a damper on those ambitious growth plans.
Yeah, no one likes a leaky bucket. But you're saying it goes even deeper than that, right?
Way deeper. See, high churn, it's like a canary in a coal mine. It's a huge red flag that something's not quite right, maybe with the product itself, maybe how you're supporting those customers. It's a warning sign you can't ignore.
And it's not just internal, right? Doesn't it also kind of send a message to the whole market, to your competitors?
Absolutely. It affects how the outside world views you. A high churn rate, well, it whispers to potential investors, competitors, everyone really, that maybe you're not as strong as you seem. If people are jumping ship, there must be a reason.
Ouch, that's gotta sting. And it all boils down to loyalty and satisfaction, right? I mean, if customers are happy with what you're offering, they're not going anywhere.
Exactly. Low churn is a pretty solid indicator that you're doing something right. People are finding value, they're sticking around, they're telling their friends. It's the dream.
The dream, for sure. But let's be real, even with the best efforts, you're gonna lose some customers along the way.
True that.
Yeah.
It happens. But here's the thing, even those folks who decide to leave, they're not useless. In fact, Stripe points out that their feedback, their reasons for leaving, can be pure gold.
Gold? How so?
Think of it like this. They're giving you a glimpse into what went wrong, what they were missing, what could have been better. It's like a free consultation on how to improve your product.
I see. Turn that frown upside down. Use it as fuel for innovation. And for those SaaS founders out there chasing those big investments, well, churn is a number that VCs are going to stare at hard.
Oh yeah, investors are all about sustainability. They want to know you're building something that lasts, something people want to be a part of long term. Low churn is proof you're on the right track.
It all comes down to building those strong, lasting relationships with your customers. It costs way less to keep a happy customer than to constantly scramble to replace those who churn.
Preach. It's the foundation of any successful SaaS business.
So we've covered the why churn is so important. Now let's dive into the good stuff.
Yeah.
What are some of those actionable strategies Stripe lays out to keep those customers happy and subscribed?
Let's get tactical.
The first one they hit on is onboarding, that very first interaction a new customer has with your product.
Oh, onboarding. It's make or break, isn't it? You can nail that first impression.
It sets the tone for the whole relationship. Make it clunky, confusing, well, say goodbye to that customer before they even realize what they're missing.
Exactly. Stripe's all about keeping it simple, stupid, clear, intuitive, easy to navigate. Think guided tours that hold their hand through the features, tooltips that pop up right when they need them, and interactive tutorials, learning by doing, not just reading a wall of text.
So getting them to that aha moment as quickly as possible, that's when they realize, hey, this thing actually solves my problem.
That's the magic moment. And you got to be upfront about expectations too. Customers need to know exactly what they're getting, how it's going to benefit them, and see some early wins to get them hooked.
And speaking of getting hooked, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation, is it? The article mentions this whole idea of personalized onboarding.
Oh yeah, personalization is huge. Stripe even throws in this Gartner survey from 2022, showing just how much B2B software buyers appreciate a tailored approach, training and support that feels like it's made just for them.
So not just throwing them in the deep end, right? Tailoring that experience based on their business size, their industry, even their specific role within the company.
Makes them feel seen, heard, understood. And here's the thing, onboarding isn't a one-time thing, right? It's not like you flip a switch and it's done. Stripe talks about integrating feedback mechanisms throughout the process.
So you're saying keep those lines of communication open, asking those new users for their thoughts and impressions.
Exactly. Shows you care what they think, and it gives you a chance to catch any potential issues before they turn into full-blown churn reasons. And even after that initial onboarding period, the learning shouldn't stop. Stripe's big on ongoing education.
Like keep the knowledge flowing, webinars, knowledge bases, helpful tips and tricks.
Keep them engaged, informed, always learning new ways to use the product. And one final point on onboarding. Stripe really stresses the importance of keeping track of how it's all working.
You mean measuring those onboarding metrics? Like how quickly are users getting up to speed? Are they using those key features?
You got it. It's all about continuous improvement. You got to know what's working, what's not, and constantly tweak that onboarding process to make it as smooth and effective as possible.
Okay, so onboarding's done. But what happens when inevitably customers hit a snag, have a question, need a little help? Enter customer support.
The heroes of the SaaS world.
And Stripe makes this really interesting point. They say support, it's more than just fixing problems. It's about building those relationships, making your customers feel truly valued and heard.
Totally.
Yeah.
They even quote this Gartner research that found a whopping 84% of B2B software buyers said that excellent support was a major factor in whether they renewed their subscriptions.
84%. Okay, yeah, support is definitely not something to skimp on.
Yeah.
So what does elevated support actually look like in practice?
Well, according to Stripe, it starts with accessibility and responsiveness. You got to be there for wherever they are, whatever channel they prefer, email, chat, phone, even social media.
Multi-channel support, the name of the game. And quick response times, right? No one likes waiting around for days to get their issue resolved.
Speed is key, for sure. But it's not just about speed, right? You got to be helpful, knowledgeable, and above all, empathetic. Stripe stresses the importance of having a support team that can not only troubleshoot those technical issues, but also really connect with the customer on a human level.
Yeah, make them feel like they're talking to a real person who cares, not just a robot reading from a script.
Exactly. And speaking of going above and beyond, Stripe also talks about proactive support.
Yeah.
Like using data to anticipate problems before they even pop up.
Wow, that's next level. So
Yeah.
you're saying if you can spot those patterns, those common issues, you can actually reach out to customers with solutions before they even realize they have a problem.
Exactly. It's like you're reading their minds. And it shows that you're not just waiting around for them to complain, you're actively looking out for them.
I like it. And of course, you got to have those self-service resources too, right? Not everyone wants to pick up the phone or wait for an email response.
Right on. Stripe recommends having a well-stocked knowledge base, FAQs, tutorials, all that good stuff. It empowers those DIY customers and frees up your support team to focus on the more complex stuff.
Makes sense. And just like with onboarding, personalization can play a big role in support, right?
Absolutely. Keeping track of past interactions, segmenting your customers, and tailoring that support experience to their specific needs. It's all about that personal touch.
And lastly, don't forget about continuous improvement. Always looking for ways to refine those support processes, get that feedback from customers, and track those key metrics.
Right. Measure, learn, iterate. The key to building a truly world-class support operation.
Awesome. So we've got onboarding and support covered. What's the next big piece of the churn reduction puzzle according to Stripe?
Well, it's all about listening to those customers and using their feedback to make your product even better.
So we're talking about actively seeking out feedback, not just waiting for those complaints to roll in.
You got it. And Stripe makes a really important point here. They say that demonstrably acting on customer feedback shows a commitment to meeting their needs and constantly improving. It builds trust and strengthens those relationships.
Yeah, it's one thing to ask for feedback, but if you don't actually do anything with it, well, that can backfire pretty badly. So how do you do this effectively?
Stripe recommends a systematic approach. Think surveys within your app, dedicated feedback forms, active social media listening, even conducting those one-on-one interviews to really dig deep.
So giving your customers a variety of ways to share their thoughts and experiences, good and bad, but gathering that feedback is just the first step.
Right. Then comes the analysis. You got to sift through all that data, look for those recurring trends, identify those pain points, and really pay attention to both the numbers and the comments.
So not just looking at those satisfaction scores, but really diving into the why, the specifics of what customers are saying. And this is where a lot of companies fall short, isn't it?
Sadly, yeah. They gather all this great feedback that it just sits there, gathering dust, Stripe's clear. You got to act on it. Prioritize those issues based on their impact and how feasible it is to address them.
So not just fixing every little thing, but strategically choosing the changes that will have the biggest impact on churn. And you can't just make those changes behind the scenes, right?
Nope. You got to be transparent. Let your customers know what you've done, how their feedback directly led to those improvements. It closes the loop and shows them that their opinions actually matter.
And that loop shouldn't just be closed, it should be tied up with a nice bow. Stripe talks about the importance of following up, especially with those customers who gave specific suggestions.
It makes them feel like they're part of the process, that they're co-creating the product with you. And in the long run, Stripe advocates for creating a whole company culture where feedback is everyone's responsibility, not just the support teams.
So product development, marketing, everyone's on board with listening to and acting on customer feedback. Makes sense. All right, we've moved from reacting to issues with great support to proactively gathering feedback. What's next? How do we actually help our customers achieve their goals?
That's where customer success comes in. And Stripe makes a great distinction here between traditional support, which is often reactive, and this proactive customer success approach.
So it's not just about putting out fires, it's about actively partnering with customers to help them get the most out of the product to achieve their desired outcomes.
Exactly. And to do that effectively, you need clear goals. Stripe emphasizes the importance of defining what success looks like for your customers and how that aligns with your business goals.
So you got to understand what they're trying to achieve, what their metrics for success are, and to guide them along that journey, you need a dedicated team, right?
Absolutely. Stripe recommends building a customer success team whose sole focus is understanding those individual customer needs and providing that proactive guidance and support.
Okay, so this team isn't just waiting for problems to happen. They're reaching out, offering best practices, making sure customers are using all the features and getting the most bang for their buck.
Right. And to keep everyone on track, Stripe suggests developing structured customer success plans tailored to different customer segments with regular check-in points along the way.
So like a roadmap for success. And during those check-ins, you can discuss progress, address any challenges, and offer personalized advice.
Exactly. But how do you know if all this customer success stuff is actually working? Well, Stripe says you got to track it. Measure things like product usage data, customer health scores, all those juicy metrics that tell you if a customer is happy and engaged.
Data is king. And if you see those warning signs, those red flags, you can intervene before it's too late. And one final point on customer success. Stripe reminds us that it's not a static thing. You got to be flexible, adapt your strategies based on feedback and those ever-changing customer needs.
It's a constant evolution. Okay, so we're making a great first impression providing killer support, listening to feedback, and actively helping our customers succeed. What else can we do to keep that churn rate low?
Well, Stripe says personalization is key. It's all about making those customers feel like your product was designed just for them.
Ah, that tailored experience. It's like a warm hug for your customers.
Exactly. And to do that, you got to leverage all that data you're collecting, right? Understand their behavior, their preferences, what features they use, what content they engage with.
Yep, it's all about using that data to make the experience more relevant and engaging. Stripe gives examples like showing personalized content within the app, making recommendations based on past usage.
And it's not just about what you do for them, it's also about giving them the power to customize things themselves, right?
Right, like letting them tweak their dashboards, set up custom notifications, make the product feel like their own.
Gives them that sense of ownership. And that personalization should extend to your communication strategy as well, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. Target those messages based on their interests and usage patterns. No one wants to be bombarded with irrelevant stuff.
And don't forget about tying those updates back to the feedback you've received. Show them that their voices are being heard and that their input is shaping the product.
Exactly. It's all about creating a feeling of partnership, of co-creation. And of course, like with everything else, you got to track those personalization efforts, measure the impact, and adjust as needed.
Okay, we're making things personal. Now let's talk about something that can be a major deal breaker: price.
Ah, the elephant in the room. And Stripe, they quote this Gartner finding that almost 10% of churn is directly related to pricing issues.
Wow, 10%. That's a big chunk. So what are we talking about here? How do you get pricing right?
First and foremost, know your worth. Do that market research, see what your competitors are charging for similar features and services, and make sure you're in the right ballpark.
Okay, so stay competitive. But it's not just about matching prices, is it?
No way. Stripe talks about value-based pricing. This means aligning your pricing with the actual benefits customers receive, understand what they value most, and price accordingly.
I like that. And to make it even more appealing, you got to offer some flexibility, right?
Oh yeah, different subscription models, monthly, annual, usage-based. Give those customers options. And consider tiered pricing with different features and services for different segments.
Caters to all those different needs and budgets. And one thing Stripe really emphasizes is transparency. Be upfront about those costs. Avoid those hidden fees that can really tick people off.
No one likes surprises on their bill.
Yeah.
And finally, don't be afraid to revisit and adjust those prices and plans based on how your business is doing and the feedback you're getting.
Keep it fresh, keep it competitive. Speaking of things that can be a pain point, let's talk about the billing process itself. Stripe, as a payments company, has some pretty insightful advice here.
They're the experts for sure. And they highlight the importance of clear, predictable billing cycles, detailed invoices, timely reminders, all that good stuff that makes paying a breeze.
Smooth sailing. No one wants to be scrambling to figure out what they owe or when it's due. And give those customers some options too, right? Different payment methods, billing frequencies, make it convenient for them.
Exactly. And Stripe also talks about their smart retries feature, which is pretty cool. If a payment fails, it uses this intelligent logic to retry at optimal times.
So you're not just bombarding them with failed payment notices, you're strategically trying to recover that revenue without annoying the customer.
Yep. And they also recommend offering prorated charges for those subscription upgrades and downgrades. No one wants to feel like they're getting ripped off.
Fairness is key. And one interesting thing they mention is the option to pause subscriptions instead of canceling outright. Could be a good way to retain those customers who are going through a temporary rough patch.
Gives them that flexibility. And another little tip, proactive payment method updates. Remind those customers to update their credit card info before it expires.
Avoid those declined payments. And for those win-back campaigns or special offers, Stripe suggests using custom discounts and coupons.
A little incentive can go a long way. And for those inevitable failed payments, have a clear and compassionate dunning process in place.
Yeah, handle those sensitive situations with grace and understanding. And as always, track those billing metrics. Look for areas to improve that whole process. Okay, so we've covered the core product, the pricing, the billing. Now let's talk about creating a sense of community, of belonging.
The warm fuzzies. And Stripe emphasizes the importance of building a community around your product and services.
So it's not just about using the software, it's about being part of something bigger, connecting with other users, sharing experiences.
Exactly. And they recommend creating those online spaces, forums, communities where users can interact and support each other.
And to keep things lively, encourage those discussions, recognize those active members, make it a welcoming and engaging space.
Right. And don't forget about real-world events, webinars, conferences, anything to bring those users together in person.
Build those connections. And another great tip is to feature user-generated content. Showcase those success stories, those creative ways people are using your product.
Social proof, it's powerful stuff. And to reward those active community members, give them some exclusive benefits, make them feel like VIPs.
And most importantly, be an active participant yourself. Show them that you're listening, you care, you're part of that community too. All right, last but not least, how do you keep that product fresh and exciting?
Updates, baby.
Yeah.
Stripe's final recommendation is to provide those regular, meaningful updates to keep your customers engaged and coming back for more.
So show them that you're not standing still, you're constantly innovating, improving, adapting to those evolving needs.
Exactly. And to do that, stay on top of those market trends. See what your competitors are up to.
Keep those creative juices flowing and involve your customers in the process, right? Get their feedback, do some beta testing, make them feel like they're part of the development journey.
It makes those updates that much more meaningful to them. And remember, while adding new features is great, don't overcomplicate things. Keep that user experience clean, simple, intuitive.
Don't lose sight of those core principles. And when you do roll out those updates, communicate them effectively, highlight those benefits, get those customers excited.
Yeah, shout it from the rooftops. And then listen to that feedback, see how those updates are landing, and make those tweaks as needed.
Continuous improvement, always. So we've covered a lot of ground today. Stripe really packs in a ton of great advice on reducing churn. The key takeaway, it's not about one magic trick. It's about a holistic approach, a deep understanding of your customers' needs at every stage of their journey.
From that first hello during onboarding to ongoing support, feedback, guidance, personalization, pricing, billing, community updates, it's all connected. It all contributes to creating happy, loyal customers who stick around for the long haul.
So for our listeners out there, I want you to think about your own business, SaaS, or even beyond. What's the one area where you see the biggest opportunity to really deepen those customer relationships? What can you do to make those customers feel truly valued and appreciated? And how can you apply these principles, these strategies, not just to keep those subscriptions rolling in, but to build a truly sustainable, successful business that thrives on strong customer connections? If you want to dig even deeper into any of these strategies, definitely check out that